WSHE, She's Only South Florida Rock and Roll. That's Vesper Sparrow and Highway, featuring Mary Karlzen on bass and backup vocals. And we've got Mary in the studio to talk about her new project and catch us up with where she's been and what she's been doing. And also joining us is Mark Scandariato, who's her partner in this whole affair. Welcome.
Hi, Glenn.
How you doing?
Good. So let's catch everybody up and introduce yourselves and where you come from and how you ended up in South Florida. The Mary Karlzen story.
Okay. I originally came from Chicago and just started playing guitar there in some clubs, some coffee houses, doing acoustic songs. And I came to Florida in somewhere around 83, 84, and met up with Karlzen, one of the girls in Vesper Sparrow, and
Drummer.
yes, and she met Kelly, the other singer, and now the lead singer, and we started just playing together. And about a year and a half, 2 years later, we started taking it seriously, and the band kind of took off, and we started playing clubs. And
I know the Vespers were pretty prominent on the local scene for a while.
they still are.
Yeah, well, still are, of course, but I mean, with the member changes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
kind of, now they're back at it.
Yeah, we went through a lot, and it's always a storm with them, so I'm sure they're going to go through a lot more. But it's never dull, that's for sure.
Yeah, and great shows. I remember seeing you guys the first time at Woody's on the Beach. It was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Is that with Miami Rocks?
It was before Miami Rocks, but yeah, this Miami Rocks just happened this weekend, the fourth one, and you guys played the very first one.
Yeah.
So what happened? You guys were like headed. I remember seeing you guys at the New Music Seminar about 2 years ago. Did a great showcase. You did a showcase in Chicago, and just what happened?
As far as my
Leaving the band.
Oh, okay. Well, we had gotten back from that trip to New York, and the band had always been very turbulent, and we always had our problems, but I just felt like I was going in a different direction, and I didn't feel like I was giving them 100%, and I didn't want to shortchange them by not putting my all into something, and my heart wasn't in it anymore, and I felt that it was my time to go and have, it was their time to grow further without me, and my time to do what, what things I wanted to experiment with.
It's a tough situation when you're with a group for so long. I mean, you get along, you're real close. It's hard to walk away from something like that.
Very difficult.
But when you have two great songwriters, because Kelly's an excellent songwriter.
Yeah, she is.
And singer in her own right.
Yeah.
I guess it must be tough because you suddenly built up a big catalog, and it's
right.
So you needed to do your own thing.
It was very difficult, and
Now, how did Mark come into the picture? Mark, let's catch up with you. You've been in local bands down here for years too.
Well, yeah, I mean, back in '83, and playing the Button when it was the Agora Ballroom. I guess I go back, that far. I don't want to sound ancient, but it seems like a long time ago. And I played in a lot of cover bands. You probably wouldn't know the names. And at that point in time, I don't know too many bands that were doing just an all original show. I mean, what was going on down here back then? It was really difficult to just do all originals and get some shows. So you would do covers, and then last set of the night, when everybody was pretty much plastered, you can get away with doing an all original set.
Right.
So I went through my bands that way, and I met through the paper. I met a guy named Wayne Glass, who's currently the drummer.
For the project now.
The project now, right. He was formerly with Talk of War and Lyrics for Lunch. And he told me that when he was in Talk of War that it was possible. This was many years later, maybe 86 or 87, that it's possible.
Things really started happening then.
That's correct. I mean, there was a lot of venues you can go into, and they expected you to do originals and one set.
Woody's.
So, exactly. So all of a sudden, it was time to just drop the covers and start worrying about your own material, what you wrote, you know, and the possibilities of making a career of this, you know, outside of being a bar band.
Right. So you found yourself in a couple of original bands.
Yeah.
Most notably
Beat the Press, which I thought was a great project. And we really worked hard. We did the Miami showcase, Miami Rocks, the same year the girls did it. And, you know, running into their band is where I met Mary. I'll kind of leave out this one audition at one point because it's embarrassing. But anyway, it's funny, when I was in Beat the Press, I took a vacation, went up to North Carolina, and two guys from Beat the Press, George, who's the bass player, very good bass player I might add, and Stephen Carroll, went to Mary's rehearsal studio and heard her do some of her original material that they hadn't heard with Vesper Sparrow. And when I got back, they told me about what a great writer she was and that I should get together with her and, you know, maybe co-write some stuff. In fact, she had a song that you know, I guess the girls weren't doing, and she played it for the guys, and they really liked it. When I came back, they were working on this song, which I thought was pretty cool. So I had to get into the act, and I kind of got her to go over to the rehearsal area with me to hear her play. But then I played, and she, I don't know, I played like 6 tunes, and she wouldn't play anything. She says it was because I wouldn't stop playing, but I don't remember. I think she was.
Imagine that.
I think she was kind of shy.
Do you guys co-write together on the album?
It was more of an arranging thing. She's had a lot of this material for a while. You know, maybe I worked on a bridge with her here, or maybe, you know, we made some decisions about verses and choruses, and just more of an arrangement thing. So
it's basically Mary's songs, and you were there behind the boards and stuff. Let's check out a track from the debut album by Mary Karlzen. It's on Y&T Music, same label that put out the Mavericks CD last year. And we'll be getting into that story in a little bit. But this one,
they had no success whatsoever.
No, it's a shame. I know, it's a shame. Anyway, let's get into it. This was and most of this album was recorded at home, right?
All but the drum tracks on 6 songs was done in our living room. So like in between tracks, we were stirring spaghetti sauce and things like that.
Cool. This is one that I remember hearing at the Vesper's warehouse. Like the one time I happened to drop by, and you guys were working on this song, and I saw the Sparrows do this one, but it came out pretty different with Mary. This is Long Time Gone, Mary Karlzen on She's Only South Florida Rock and Roll. 103.5 WSHE, She's Only South Florida Rock and Roll. Long Time Gone from Mary Karlzen. That's from their brand new album. I guess it should be in the stores. It's like trickling in, these CD things. Anyway, Y&T Music, Richard Uloa, Yesterday and Today Records, he put out the Mavericks CD with the sole intent to get them a deal. And how did he talk you into recording? I know you were a little apprehensive about it. How'd that come about?
Richard had come out to see us at some acoustic shows we were playing around town, and I thought he was a little strange at first, and he kept following me around after the shows and asking me questions, and I didn't quite know what he was getting at. And then one day I got a letter in the mail explaining his intentions and what he wanted to try for. And
what did he want to try for?
He wanted to put out a CD, this similar to the Mavericks, CD, cassette, and take that road again. And I was kind of hesitant at first because I didn't know if I was up for it. And so we had decided that we would record some songs and see how it came along, and just, took it as it came by.
Test the waters.
Right.
Now, how would, I hate to do this, but how would you describe the music? I mean, it's like it's just your basic singer-songwriter who has a lot of influences. Tell us about your influences, because there's all kinds of stuff on the CD. We'll be tasting a little bit of it. What would you say about your influences?
Geez, there's so many. I've been working in record stores since I was 15, so I was able to hear everything, from Mozart to, everything, replacements. So I've listened to a lot of different styles, and I guess it's a combination of all the ones that really got to me, who made it,
an impression
on me, yeah.
So it's like if the song feels like a folk song, then you do it in a folk style. If it's maybe a country-ish feel to it, you'll do it country, or if it's rock, you'll do it rock.
It just basically comes out however it comes out, and that's, I don't really have any, I don't write something and then try to make it into something else, The way Swingin' is really a country song, and it just kind of came out that way, and that's how the band interpreted it. I mean, the band that played on the CD is half the Mavericks, so maybe that's why that song came out like that.
Well, since that project of theirs was such a failure, I guess they had a lot of time on their hands.
Well, the studio cats,
So you got Bobby and Paul for the rhythm section on how many tracks?
On 6. We had recorded almost 10 tracks in the house, but they turned out to be demo tracks, pre-production tracks, because we just couldn't use them. And when Bob and Paul offered their services, we took them up on them. They're just great musicians, and they picked up on everything real quick. So when we started working with them, Raul, the lead singer for the Mavericks, was real interested, and he offered his services, so I took him up on that too. And he's on Hearts. He sings on that.
Came out real nice. Let's check it out. This is Hearts, Mary Karlzen, with a little help from Raul Malo. Hearts on She's Only South Florida Rock and Roll, 103.5 WSHE.
Nobody left to blame. This town will
103.5 WSHE. She's only South Florida rock and roll. Mary Karlzen, with a little help from Raul Malo on backing vocals. That one's called Hearts. And who else is on that track? Has that got the rest of the Mavericks too?
Yeah, it's got Bob and Paul at least.
And Ben also helped out on it. Who was
Not
guitars.
on that song, but he played on another song called Swingin', and he played mandolin and banjo on that song.
Who else helps out on the record?
Well, there's when I first left the Sparrows, I formed a band called I-O-N-E Fall, and that had a different bass player. His name was Greg Baroni, and
Chuck Anton.
Chunk Anton is on
Chunkette.
is also on the CD.
And what does he do?
He plays fiddle.
Fiddle, right?
He plays
So-
other instruments too, but on the CD he's mostly fiddle.
So is he, now who's in the band now? You've got
Right
your own
now-
band finally together?
Yeah, the I-O-N-E Fall thing kind of fell apart. You know, when we went to record, it just took so long, and we devoted all our time to recording, and so we just kind of started over again and started playing with some people, and now we have Wayne Glass, as we mentioned before, as the drummer.
Right. And Tracy Wilcox is on bass.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing in a band, but he's studying theory, and he played in Lyrics for Lunch for a couple months.
Yeah. It's phenomenal.
Very good.
So you guys are going to be making your debut performance this coming Friday in Fort Lauderdale.
Right at Reunion Room.
Cool. Looking forward to that. And we'll check out another track from the CD, why don't we? This one's One of the Rockers. And it's, what can you say about it?
This song was the last one written for the CD. And it started out as a political song, and I don't know, didn't want to preach, so I kind of turned into something else. And
here it is.
Yeah.
And it's cut number 9. That's about it.
That's all you can say. And
It's cut number 9. Actually.
All right, and it's on the debut CD from Mary Karlzen, The Way I See It on She's Only South Florida Rock and Roll.
Some who care, but most run.
103.5 WSHE. She's only South Florida rock and roll. The Way I See It, brand new from Mary Karlzen, her debut CD. On Y&T Music, it'll be out in the stores this week, available on cassette as well. The packaging is beautiful. Another outstanding job.
Yeah.
Rich does a great job. The Mavericks CD look great. And this one, the plan is to get you signed to a major or to get or what? What's the direction that you're going with this?
Well, that was the original intention when we sat down and decided to do this, but I've learned a lot just from doing the project and gained a lot from it, you know. So if nothing comes of it, that's okay too, because this has just been like one of the best experiences of my life. I feel very fortunate that I found the right people, because there's a lot of talented people in South Florida, and you just gotta connect with the right one and
keep at it long enough,
yeah.
you know, and hopefully things will work out, right?
Right.
So what direction is the plan to take this? I mean,
Well,
we were talking a little bit before. I mean, it's you know, it's country, but it's not country.
Right.
It's, I mean, the Mavericks was obvious that was country.
Right.
I think Richard really is going to hit the college market with it. He's going to get it on a lot of college radio.
It's a big thing now, this the progressive country, if you will. I mean, it's crossing over. I mean, the Mavericks are a country band, but they play all the rock clubs in town. They've yet to play like the real country clubs.
Right.
Absolutely.
And their following is a rock following. A lot of people gave them a lot of crap for being at the rock awards, but I mean, that's part of the rock scene, be it a country band or not. So do you feel that you're going to have a problem, or you're going to go the same route, you're playing Reunion Room, and then the 14th you're playing Washington Square?
I think we're going to learn a lot from this first show. I mean, we really don't know what to expect. There's some people that would think we're nuts for going in a Reunion Room at all. And, I mean, you know, when you come in and hear the rehearsals we've been doing, it's pretty hard stuff, believe it or not. I mean, we don't play quietly.
It's
know?
too rock for country and too
Country
for progressive, I should say. And it's going to be hard to find a home, but you can't force yourself into a place or try to write for a specific audience, or it'll just come off stale, and you know, people see through it right away. So I can't try to write any certain way. I'm just gonna keep writing, and whatever comes out, you know. And I guess that'll be it. You know, we're not specifically targeting a certain market or anything. So
cool. It's just my favorite kind of music. People that have heard the album and have reviewed it, Todd Anthony and the New Times, it seems like everybody keeps coming back to this song as a kind of a standout track. The lyrics are so I don't know, they conjure up beautiful images. It's kind of song, you know, one of those great songs that you don't want to see a video for because you got your own video happening in your head.
Right.
This is Swinging on His Arm, Mary Karlzen on She's Only South Florida Rock and Roll, 103.5 WSHE, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and the Palm Beaches.
Drive the car down the dirt road, back behind the barn, back where we used to hide and run out on the field with those dogs fast on our heels. I didn't know that those dogs would never bite, pitching bugs back by. I see you hiding, I see you hiding. Right to everything I own, for a taste of yesterday. I hear my father calling out now, well I know just what he'd say. Back to the farm, we'd be out to the field, and I'd be swinging on. Tell you behind the bar.
103.5 WSHE. She's only South Florida rock and roll. That is Mary Karlzen from her debut album, solo album, on the Y&T music label, Swinging on His Arm. Beautiful song. It's a great sounding disc too, and the packaging is excellent. It's definitely worth the time and effort put into it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And we should talk about who's on that track.
Well, that's Paul Paul and Bobby from the Mavericks, and also Ben came over one night and did mandolin and banjo. He did the banjo, actually.
Yeah, the banjo. It's a weird thing. Mike and a banjo was just, I don't know. I need to go to engineering school. It was a pain in the behind.
This was kind of a new thing for you, playing these like countryish licks and stuff. I mean, coming from the pop rock background of Beat the Press.
I'm still getting grief for being too loud, the guitar, and I have to. It's like going to school again. I'm learning all these different licks. Yet, I don't want to learn everything that's out there in the country field, because hey, they're years ahead of me. So somehow I'm going to merge what I used to do with
but it makes
do.
it fresh. I think that's why it translates to a rock crowd, because the attitude is you come from a rock background.
Right.
I mean, Anyway, it's an excellent project. Congratulations. Come and see the band. It's this coming Friday, Reunion Room, and the debut of the Mary Karlzen band, if you will.
Can we just clarify that we don't think that Richard is strange? I just wanted to say that to Richard. He's not strange, but he's special, and
very special.
It's great to have somebody that believes in your music that much. I mean, the guy is just unbelievable. And if there's a Y&T 3, somebody's going to be very lucky.
Cool.
Thanks for having us, Glenn.
No problem. Thanks for coming in, and stay tuned. We've got more on the way. We were going to be talking with Sucker Punch. We're going to go kind of in the other direction. We'll rock out a little bit with the guys formerly from Tough Luck. Catch up with them when She's Only South Florida Rock and Roll continues. Also on the show, we've got some other new music for you. We'll hear some new stuff from Load, Snatch the Pebble, and Velvet Taxi from Live at the Square City. We've got it all. She's Only South Florida Rock and Roll. Something different on She.